he was trying to compromise him and make him like fluid. He said once you compromise your center of integrity, which is your butthole, you become fluid and like nothing, you get all of it.
I started kicking it with Diddy, right? I ran around with Diddy for 2 years, and this Diddy, we never went to the studio one time, but he was like, yo, I fuck with your demo, that shit, bad boy, but hey, Playboy, hey, here go a watch, Playboy, here go a chain, Playboy. I'm like, yo, we ever gonna rap?
Just when it looked like the Diddy controversy couldn't get any bigger, 50 Cent reignited the fire with a shocking claim, suggesting he may have steered Terrence Howard away from situations he says could have gone very wrong. Then Terrence broke his silence, and he didn't sugarcoat a thing. He openly criticized what he described as a lack of backbone within the industry, calling out how some people, in his view, compromise their dignity just to remain connected to power. Terrence admitted he managed to distance himself before things escalated further. Now, rumors are swirling that 50 Cent has invited him to take part in a new documentary series, potentially bringing first-hand insight into a world many refuse to discuss. If that happens, it could crack open a conversation the industry has avoided for years, leaving one question hanging in the air: who stayed strong? And who didn't?
That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Get punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man. There's a lot of things that people do that end up sitting and they can't get over it. And they got to keep getting high, hoping to get it out of their head. But when you lose your man card, that was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. So it's like achieving don't mean anything. If I get all the Nobel Prizes from doing all of this, but in the process, I have to trade out all of my integrity to do it so that they can stay in place. What benefit is that if I lose my integrity? You got to go in as a principal. Buffy invited me. I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music, and he's sitting there. He's looking at me. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to, that's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh, okay, now I get it. And that's always been my whole thing, and have lost businesses because I don't bend over in that. Profit off of my name while calling me a liar, then be prepared to stand behind your accusations. Because in the old world, men didn't hide behind anything. When they spoke against someone, they had to speak it with their whole being. And if you're going to speak against me, then use the same courage that it took for me to say those truths. Man to man, eye to eye.
I'm a big fan of your work. When you came in, the first thing I said is the character, Harvey, Borden, from fighting, right? The way you would speak, the way you would move. But this is the first time we saw you talking about you leaving Hollywood, Rob. If you want to play this clip, go for it.
Terrence Howard here. You made huge headlines when you said after you complete these 15 episodes of Empire, you got to walk away for a while or forever.
For good. I mean, everyone keeps trying to tell me, don't say it's forever, but I've spent 37 years pretending to be people so that people can pretend to watch and enjoy what I'm doing when I've made some discoveries in my own personal life with the science that, Pythagoras was searching for. I was able to open up the flower of life properly and find the real wave conjugations that we've been looking for 10,000 years. Why would I continue, walking on water for tips when I...
Mm-hmm. While you're there.
While I'm there, Dolo.
You're there by yourself.
Yeah. With he has some employees there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So suddenly there's red dots all over your shirt.
Yeah. I'm like, damn, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? I really could. I didn't know what.
More major names are starting to surface, including artists many fans still admire. But the biggest question remains whether 50 Cent actually has the proof to back up what he's hinting at, especially when it comes to the private parties and whatever unfolded between Diddy and Terrence Howard. Curiosity is reaching a boiling point. During his interview, Terrence dropped a cryptic line that caught everyone's attention, saying that even when he's wrong, he's still right, a statement that only deepened the mystery. Appearing on the PBD podcast, he spoke candidly about what he described as the darker side of elite industry gatherings, claiming many celebrities lost themselves chasing access and approval. According to his account, once someone compromises their integrity to fit in, there's no easy way back. He suggested that several people entered those spaces believing there would be no consequences, only to later realize they'd been used, trading authenticity for proximity to power, and paying a lasting price for it.
Losing out money. You got to take, you're going through so much shit to try and deal with life. You are literally, it's an unhealthy space. And so eventually you're going to go too far.
Yeah. Did you see the Terrence Howard thing where he talked about how the man's like, kind of center of structural integrity is his butthole? And he claims P. Diddy was trying to compromise him and make him like fluid. Said once you compromise your center of integrity, which is your butthole, you become fluid and like nothing. You get all fucked up. Yeah, he's a mathematician, so he was saying like the geometry, like the underpinning of your structural manhood.
Like the center of gravity, he thinks is your butthole.
It's your butthole, and once you,
which by the way, I can't prove him wrong.
It's something to it, man.
Sounds like he's right again.
You say it's Terrence Howard, mathematician,
hustle and flow.
Oh boy,
the hustle and flow guy that's now a super genius.
Okay.
Loss piles onto loss, money, stability, self-respect. And before you realize it, you're trapped in an environment that drains everything you are. Terrence didn't mince words about where that road leads. He stressed that real strength comes from refusing to compromise your dignity, no matter the pressure. Calling out actors who he believes lost their footing while chasing fame, he warned that once certain lines are crossed, there's nothing solid left to stand on. His message was blunt and unwavering. Success means nothing if it costs your integrity. Protect it at all costs, because once it's gone, everything else follows.
Things that people do that end up sitting and they can't get over it. And they got to keep getting high, hoping to get it out of their head. But when you lose your man card, that was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. So it's like achieving don't mean anything. If I get all the Nobel Prizes from doing all of this, but in the process, I have to trade out all of my integrity to do it so that they can stay in place. What benefit is that if I lose my integrity? You got to go in as a principal. Puffy invited me. I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music, and he's sitting there. He's looking at me. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to f you. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it. And that's always been my whole thing, and have lost businesses because I don't bend over in that way.
When Patrick Bet-David brought up names like Justin Bieber, suggesting that even major stars may have been pulled into the chaos, Terrence didn't push back. Instead, he spoke from his perspective, saying you can still see the emotional damage in some of these figures today. In his view, they're struggling to process what they experienced, whether it came from substance use, pressure, or environments they weren't prepared for. Terrence emphasized that whatever the circumstances, something personal was surrendered in the process. He believes real healing would require serious therapy because trauma like that doesn't simply disappear. According to him, it lingers, often manifesting later as addiction, depression, or a fractured sense of identity. The fame may look glamorous from the outside, he warned, but the reality behind closed doors can be far more damaging than people realize.
With the actor Terrence Howard saying that Diddy tried to f him a while ago when they linked up.
I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at it. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to.
Here's my issue with this, whether that's true or false. Now, for the record, I'm a huge fan of Terrence Howard. I think he's one of the GOATs at acting. I done watched everything from The Best Man and Crash all the way to Lackawanna Blues. A lot of y'all never even seen that film. Why you ain't tell this man why he was right there in front of your face when you felt it at this moment? Now, granted, a lot of females that be victims of stuff, whether they're lying or telling the truth, and some of them, when they telling the truth, they want to say it like years later. They kind of explain why they didn't say it when it happened out of like certain fear and certain trauma or whatever. But men ain't got no excuse. Any on earth trying to touch me on some homo shit, and I'm not homo, I'm hetero. My nigga be a problem. You want some weird shit? I'm not waiting years later till you get locked up on some female. That's female. Like, we got to stop this whole kicking while they down.
Terrence also spoke critically about what he sees as a toxic exchange within the industry, claiming that some women are pressured to trade their bodies for opportunities. In his view, awards, money, and status mean nothing if they come at the cost of personal values. He argued that success loses its meaning when integrity is sacrificed, stressing that staying true to one's principles matters more than any trophy or paycheck. That he then made a far more personal claim, alleging that Diddy once crossed a line with him. According to Terrence, the interaction began innocently, with Diddy asking for help improving his acting, then shifted toward interest in Terrence's music. Terrence says the situation felt off enough that his assistant intervened, warning him something wasn't right. He claims that after he rejected the advance, the dynamic changed, prompting him to finally speak out about what he says happened next.
Ever have the opportunity where you got invited and he said no consequences when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks asking me to come and teach him wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at it. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music and he's sitting there just looking at it. Like waiting. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to, that's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh, now I get it. So now no more communication. Now you notice to be hands off with somebody. A number of producers come in and make the approach and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, threaten to knock their head off for talking to you like, or looking at you like you're a woman. You know, when you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction. It's a difference when a walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a will accept. So always be the man in the
Terrence claims that over several weeks, Diddy repeatedly invited him over under the pretense of acting coaching. According to Terrence, when he finally showed up, there was no script, no preparation, no discussion of craft, just long stretches of silence and staring. He says Diddy then shifted directions again, asking to hear his music. Terrence played several tracks, but describes Diddy as offering no feedback, only watching him closely. Afterward, Terrence says his assistant pulled him aside and explained that Diddy wanted him to come back the following week. That was the moment, Terrence says, everything clicked. This was never about acting or music, but something else entirely.
The people that went to the Puffy party. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Get punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man.
Do it, right?
Yeah.
I know you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually.
Oh, you've been saying this for a long time now. And then no one was, they're just, why is he saying this? And now it's coming out like crazy. I mean,
but I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated.
But was there a reason you never went to those parties back in the day? Obviously, I know what's going on there, but is there a reason you never did?
I'm just not with all that freaky shit. Like all of the stuff that he's doing, I'm not into that type of stuff. I'm just a little more, maybe you could say basic or normal.
Terrence says Diddy wasn't the only industry figure who tested his boundaries. According to him, he encountered multiple producers who made what he describes as questionable offers, pressuring him to compromise in exchange for opportunity. Terrence insists he refused every time, saying a real man never trades his integrity for success. He admits those decisions cost him major roles and career momentum, but maintains he has no regrets. When his interview surfaced, it quickly ignited online discussion, with many reacting to his willingness to speak openly about his experience. As the conversation grows, 50 Cent, who has long said he avoided those circles, is now preparing to address similar themes in his upcoming documentary, adding even more fuel to an already explosive narrative.
Don't compromise. I don't play the role. I don't the man. I don't do that because the man card means everything.
You see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They can't get it out of their head, whether they were high or whatever. You gave up your man card. That was all the people that went to the Puffy parties. I've never seen somebody recover from it. They have their money, but they don't have their dream. They don't have the soul that they started with. So it's like achieving don't mean anything.
50 Cent responded to Terrence Howard's claims by sharing a clip from the interview with a short but telling caption. No comment. Staying positive. God help us all. But behind that calm tone, 50 is clearly turning the moment into momentum. He's now folding the growing Diddy controversy directly into his Netflix documentary, transforming public chaos into premium content. The project reportedly sparked intense interest, with Netflix ultimately locking in the deal. The series is set to examine everything from Cassie's lawsuit to the expanding wave of allegations and insider accounts. True to form, 50 hasn't just observed from a distance. He's reportedly reached out to Terrence for additional insight. It fits a long-standing pattern, as 50 has consistently defended Terrence, especially when speaking on Hollywood's treatment of black men and the narrow, compromising roles they're often pressured to accept.
Fan of your work. When you came in, the first thing I said is the character, Harvey, Borden, from fighting, right? The way you would speak, the way you would move. But this is the first time we saw you talking about you leaving Hollywood. Rob, if you want to play this clip, go for it.
Terrence Howard here. You made huge headlines when you said after you complete these 15 episodes of Empire, you got to walk away for a while or forever.
For good. I mean, everyone keeps trying to tell me, don't say it's forever, but I've spent 37 years pretending to be people so that people can pretend to watch and enjoy what I'm doing when I've made some discoveries in my own personal life with the science that, Pythagoras was searching for. I was able to open up the flower of life properly and find the real wave conjugations that we've been looking for 10,000 years. Why would I continue, walking on water for tips when I...
Terrence Howard also stood firmly behind Taraji P. Henson after she spoke out about being underpaid in Hollywood, saying her experience came as no surprise because the issue has existed for decades. He then revealed a striking example from his own career, explaining that despite hustle and flow earning more than $75 million at the box office, he was paid just $12,000 for his role. Even more troubling, he says he has never received royalties for the music he performed in the film. To Terrence, it was a clear illustration of how systemic underpayment operates behind the scenes, especially for artists whose contributions generate massive profit, but go largely unrewarded.
Paramount will send them a letter.
Are you serious?
I got to send them a letter to say, hey, you guys owe me about 20 years worth of residuals and performance royalties. But I didn't know, I was just trying to pay my rent then. I made $6,000 doing Crash. Crash didn't.
I remember the movie Crash. Yes, that's right. That's right.
The business don't pay actors anything. That's why the strike is going on. Actors are struggling.
Understand how, in your mind, to the average person who hasn't put amount of time that you have put in, credibility after 1 times 1 times 2, 1 times 1 equals 2. How do you come up with that conclusion?
Well, if I was wrong, then they wouldn't have made such a big stink about it. But the fact that I was able to show them with their calculator that because they have 1 times 1 equaling 1,
right,
an action times an action without a reaction, and as a result of it, you get this contradiction with the square root of 2 being cubed having the same value as the square root of 2 times 2, which should say a red flag, a herring right away that there's something wrong with the mathematics, with that being the problem that leads into the distribution of prime numbers, because the number 2, any prime number that you subtract from another prime number, always is going to end up in a composite number. But except with the case of the number 2. That's the only prime number that you subtract from another prime number and you end up in a prime number. Why? Because the prime number 2 is a composite number.
Terrence also hinted that legal action could be coming, revealing he's considering suing Paramount over money he says he's still owed from more than 2 decades ago. According to him, he was paid just $6,000 for Crash, a film that ultimately went on to win an Academy Award. The revelation expands the scope of the controversy far beyond Diddy, suggesting the real issue runs deeper within the industry itself. If Terrence follows through, it could open the door to long-simmering disputes over compensation, credit, and accountability that Hollywood has managed to avoid for years.
I'm just tired of working so hard Being gracious at what I do, getting paid a fraction of the cost. I'm tired of hearing my sisters say the same thing over and over.
Taraji P. Henson's brutally honest and emotional explanation of Hollywood's pay disparity is going viral.
I hear people go, you work a lot. I'll have to. The math ain't mathin'. Big bills come with what we do. We don't do this alone. The fact that we're up is a whole entire team behind us.
Yes.
They have to get paid.
Inflation, equal pay for black actresses.
So 2018 was when I finally got a real quote. And that is the last time that I haven't gotten a raise since then. And each and every project that I have to fight for that.
You still have to fight.
I have to fight for that. Yeah.
What does that do to you?
That's why I'm not excited anymore.
It takes
all of that away. And I know what other people are getting paid.
What do you think that's about?
It's about me being a woman and a black woman. I still don't think that this town respects what black women bring to the table.
After hearing Terrence's story, 50 Cent stepped in, offering support and bringing him, along with Taraji P. Henson, to G-Unit Films, promising to ensure they get paid what they truly deserve. He shared a clip of Terrence reflecting on being underpaid for hustle and flow, captioning it,
When they spoke against someone, they had to speak it with their whole being. And if you're going to speak against me, then use the same courage that it took for me to say those truths. Man to man, eye to eye.
Gotta say no to Diddy. If it's new booty in the building, you know he gonna get it.
Don't take your girlfriend to a Diddy party.
You can take the but he won't you.
50 Cent followed up with a direct post, calling on Terrence to reach out so he could finally get the money he deserved. No games. With Terrence going public about his experience with Diddy and the history between 50 and Diddy, the timing couldn't be better. Fans are hyped, praising 50, Terrence, and others for speaking out. But the burning question remains, who gave in to Diddy? Terrence was clear. Many men in the industry sacrificed their integrity just to stay in Diddy's circle, and whispers about some names are already circulating.
This is extended family. You've been there with me through my ups and downs. Whenever I get in trouble, this is the one I call. It's my strategist right here. This my brother. It's B.I.G.'s brother. Yes, sir. It's Brooklyn's own Brooklyn. Homie's doing a lot of things, man. Most importantly, you know, he had a recital that he has to be at the flu. But I reached out to him, and I told him that this right here was important. Bad Boy celebrating 20 years of hits. And this is extended family. You've been there with me through my ups and downs. Whenever I get in trouble, this is the one I call. It's my strategist right here. This my brother. It's B.I.G.'s brother. Yes, sir. It's Brooklyn's own Brooklyn. Homie's doing a lot of things, man. Most importantly, you know, he had a recital that he has to be at the flu. But I reached out to him, and I told him that this right here was important. Bad Boy celebrating 20 years of hits. And this is extended family. You've been there with me through my ups and downs.
From the world of entertainment, there's only one person. Oh, go on. And I call him Sean. That's Jay-Z. We call each other Sean.
Okay.
Yeah. Nobody else could call me Sean.
He's the only person who's Sean approved.
There's not a single person that
outside
should be,
of family.
That should be outside of my mother.
Okay, just
that should be calling me. Yeah, they should be calling me Sean.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear friend. Happy birthday to you. This is a special birthday for both of us.
Sources say 50 Cent is on a mission to call everyone out in his documentary. And the next target is Jay-Z. While Jay-Z has played it off as if he wasn't close to Diddy, the evidence tells a different story. Years ago, Diddy called Jay his extended family and said he'd be the first person he'd call in trouble. That's not casual industry talk. That's ride or die loyalty.
Kicking it with Diddy, right? I ran around with Diddy for 2 years, and this Diddy, we never went to the studio one time, but he was like, yo, I fuck with your demo, that shit. You know, bad boy, but hey, Playboy, hey, here go a watch, Playboy, here go a chain, Playboy. I'm like, yo, we ever gonna rap? Like, nah.
I was doing it for 2 years.
Yo, but the jet leaves at 5. We going to Miami, Playboy. We going to, you know what I'm saying? We going to New York. We in ATL this weekend, Playboy, pop out. And I was going everywhere with Diddy, and then one day this Diddy, me and Diddy was smoking. He was like, you know what I've been thinking? You belong with Dr. Dre. No, you don't say. But yeah, so Diddy told me that, and before I went to go fuck with Diddy, I went to go fuck with Suge. And Suge had, at this time, if you remember, he had Eastwood, Crooked Eye, Corrupt, and Left Eye. And I felt like, you know, I was young, and I had my whole hood with me. My city was behind me, like Death Row. Right. Why wouldn't you want to be signed to Death Row? It's Pac, it's Snoop, it's Dre, it's Suge. And plus, I didn't give a fuck at that time about nothing. I wanted to do the music, but I was still heavy in the street.
Did you and Puff maintain a relationship over the years, or not really?
I still got a relationship with Puff. Whenever I talk to him, it's always gonna be the same. He ain't never been nothing to me but a good person. I've been around Puff for millions of times, and I ain't never seen, you know, none of the shit that people are talking about, but that's just my experience. I don't know what other people experience, if it's true, if it's not true, or whatever. I just know Puff always been good, a good mentor and a good big brother, and somebody in hip hop that I looked up to for obvious reasons. Outside of the Cassie situation, which, you know, I think they settled that, right? So he had that.
He settled it quick.
Right. So that means that he owned up to whatever it was that they had.
Well, just to be fair, I don't want to interrupt you, but settling doesn't mean you own up.
I'm not saying own up. I'm saying he took the responsibility to settle something that was in the media that needed to be settled, is what I'm saying.
Called freak offs. Very interesting term.
I've never witnessed that type of behavior. I don't know what a man do in his bedroom or nothing like that. They was rocking together. From what I know. All I know is they both was rock stars, living their best life in a relationship.
Yes, he was very instrumental in that group.
Yes, he was.
So you met Puffy through Jodeci?
I met Puff at it was Live Aid. That was the name of the concert in New York. And they were like, yo, Biggie and Puff on the show. I didn't know. I'm on Jodeci wave. You know what I'm saying? I'm really into R&B at this point. I'm, you know, got my roots stuck in R&B. So I'm like, I don't know these guys. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, how I met Puff was Chad Elliott, Dr. Seuss. You know what I'm saying? Great friend of mine, a brother to me.
You're hanging out with Diddy in his mansion in Miami, and Homeland Security rushes in while you're there.
While I'm there, Dolo.
You're there by yourself.
Yeah. With the, you know, he has some employees there. And stuff. Yeah.
So suddenly there's red dots all over your shirt.
Yeah. I'm like, damn, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? I really could, I didn't know what to think. I didn't even think it was real at first.
Right. Now, you didn't do anything wrong, so you don't get arrested. Right. But did they cuff you and everything?
They didn't cuff me. They just, you know, detained me, moved me to an area. You know, yeah.
Now Jay-Z is saying, we weren't really that close, bro. But let's be real. Diddy skipped a milestone with his own kid just to perform with him. And it doesn't stop there. During Diddy's 2023 carpool karaoke with James Corden, he revealed that Jay-Z is the only person besides his mom allowed to call him by his real name, Sean. That's next level closeness.